Hey guys, this is the Roundhouse Report. This is going to be the fastest video I've ever made with regard to a subject this complicated, which is the trade war with China that Trump has, with great hilarity, comedy, initiated months ago, a year ago, I don't know. Please subscribe, the Roundhouse Report. I always got to smoke a cigarette whenever I make a video, because I'm pounding, just got up a little bit ago. A Red Bull, anyway, speed. I have to go quick. I'm just going to lay it out in the most simplistic terms possible. Trump, when this all started, Trump tweets out there's a difference between proposing sanctions and enacting them, imposing. You have propose, I propose $30 billion in sanctions. And that's kind of like it gives whoever you're targeting a chance to kind of be like, wait, before you enact them, let's talk. And then you have actually enacting them. So you have proposing them, and then you have actually enacting them. Okay. So on Monday, Trump will come out. Let's just, this is like kind of how it started. Trump will come out and he'll be like, yo, we are going to propose, not impose, we're going to propose $50 billion in tariffs on Chinese goods. Okay, the Chinese are like, okay, Trump's talking tough. This is in like 2017 after he'd been, elected in 2016 in the elections. So Xi Jinping, the president of China for life, very militaristic, very nationalistic, very much like Trump. Trump had him at his little palace at Mar-a-Lago, whatever it's called, in that jungle state, Florida. They're like best buds, right? Okay. So China will come back and they'll be like, okay, I know you have to keep your campaign pledge or whatever, so we're going to propose $50 billion on you if you enact the $50 billion that you're threatening us with. That's Monday. Tuesday, Trump comes out with some tweets, and he says, he doesn't like, okay, let's talk. He says, today at noon, I am enacting, not proposing, I am enacting $100 billion worth of tariffs on Chinese goods. So he went from proposing $50 billion, the Chinese countering with a proposal of $50 billion, to Trump out of nowhere, like Blitzkrieg style, I am enacting $100 billion in tariffs. The Chinese are not used to this. They have never been treated like this by anybody ever. In the early 1980s, Chairman Deng came to be. He came to power. D-E-N-G. He is the one that first began the slow transition of opening up Chinese, up until then, rigid, closed market economy controlled by the state, into gradual, semi-hybrid-esque, free market, communistic, capitalistic, weird mishmash. There's not really a name for it yet. So Trump comes out and he's like, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and enact the $100 billion. China's like, what the F? Dude, okay, whatever. Campaign, whatever. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and enact the $50 billion. We don't want to escalate anymore, but we have to counter so that we save face on the world stage. Okay, so come Wednesday morning, the United States has enacted $100 billion, under Trump, enacted $100 billion on China, under Trump, and China, Xi Jinping, under Xi Jinping, has enacted $50 billion. So they're doing a tit for tat, except Trump's doing like twice as much. Again, this is a simplistic example. You would need to look through the source materials beginning a year or two ago when this trade war started until now. I'm giving a very brief thing, just to break it down conceptually. Wednesday comes. I just broke that out. China's a little bit scared. No U.S. president has ever challenged them like this. Ever since Deng came to power in the early 1980s, the United States, with our greedy corporations, have been meticulously, methodically implanting ourselves into their markets, into the Chinese markets. We love it. And some argue that the United States really is just an oligarchy. It's run by the freaking corporations, and in large part it is. Big Pharma, Medicare. Medicare is a great thing that the United States citizens pay into, and yet we're called... it's called entitlement spending, when we literally, every single paycheck, like 10% of our earnings go toward it. It's entitlements. No, it's not. We paid for it. Freaking A. Learn your stuff, man. There's a difference between getting food stamps and there's a difference between paying into the system and getting freaking credits based on the hundreds of thousands of dollars a person makes in a lifetime, millions of dollars worth that they make in a lifetime, and the taxes they pay on that. But I'm getting way off track. So Thursday, China is kind of like, what should we do on Wednesday? At this point, Trump has enacted $100 billion in tariffs on Chinese goods. China has retaliated by enacting $50 billion, only $50 billion in American goods. And by the way, they're generally targeting like soybean farmers and Trump's base in the Rust Belt region of the United States, people who voted for him. The Chinese are trying to be like sneaky and systematic, and they're trying to do pinpoint strikes against specific markets in the United States. We're doing it across the board. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of specific markets and specific products and companies that we are targeting. We're doing a complete freaking scattershot, whereas the Chinese are doing like precision-guided missile strikes. So come Wednesday, all right, China's kind of like, what should we do? And I was like, all right, well, Trump, if you don't come to the table, we are proposing another $50 billion in sanctions if you don't come to the table. 2 hours later, Trump tweets, I am proposing $200 billion more in sanctions on China. At this point, China's like, what? Dude, come on, man. Come on. What the fuck, man? Excuse my language, dude, but Xi Jinping, I know him. He's my second cousin by marriage. I know how he talks. Perfect English if he wants. Big dude. He's almost as big as me. They have no idea what to do. They've never been treated like this. And the whole point, the strategy, is long game. It's called a trade war for a reason. It's a fucking war, okay? It's going to hurt for maybe 5 years. Excuse my language, I get worked up a little bit when I drink Red Bull. These soybean farmers, they're going to take some hits, okay? Certain industries within the United States are going to take some hits in the short term. That's why it's called a war. So in the next 5 years, we're going to take hits here and there, hits here and there. But in 10 years, if the overall economic situation has improved by only 5% for all of these industries, then wasn't it worth it? Now, today is May 8th, 2019. May 8th, 2019. This is a very fluid situation. I have not read the freaking articles other than the headlines and the stuff that I've already read beforehand regarding source material following this trade war since it began. China is so shocked. This is the economic version of shock and awe. We witnessed it in 2003 in Iraq. There was shock and awe. Well, this is freaking shock and awe on the Chinese government. They have no idea what to do. The private sector industries inside of China are semi-owned by the Chinese government. The industries that are being lit up, they were already in trouble. The real estate bubble inside of China, that was already growing before Trump was even elected president. Google Ghost Cities China, and you will see just kind of where China stands. Everyone talks about how great their economy is and stuff. Yeah, it's growing. It's growing, and they make a bunch of cheap stuff that nobody wants. They need it. It's cheap. It's made poorly, but it's cheap, and everyone's greedy. Oligarchy. By the way, boycott Apple. They sold us out. In exchange for access to the Chinese markets, they shared under a forced technology transfer, which the Chinese government does. And as if Apple hadn't made enough money in America, they decided to, under duress, give all their artificial intelligence technologies, all their cloud technologies, all their algorithm, all that stuff they gave to the Chinese government. And it's easily applicable. You know what they do? They immediately turn it around into things that can benefit their military. Oh, the military. Oh, why does that? Look up my video about the South China Sea. I made like 50 of them. So videos. But China, as of right now, on May 8th, under Xi Jinping, they are recoiling. They are on their heels. They are basically capitulating. Trump has won this war. Short game, we may hurt. We may take some hits. Stock market's still up beyond any numbers it's ever been before. It's over 20,000 points. Has been for a long time. So, long game, 10 years, we're up 30,000 points because it had to hurt for 5 years now. And the Chinese don't know what to do, for real. Think about it. They're a dictatorial system that has been gradually, over the past 2 to 3 decades, opening up their markets, trying to integrate into the world economy. And now suddenly they are being lit up by a United States president, effectively, and he's hitting them so fast and so rapidly that Xi Jinping, he doesn't really have, him and his people, they don't have time to respond properly. A dictatorship can handle getting hit with economic sanctions easier than a democracy, which is one of the fundamental flaws of a democracy. These soybean farmers, what if they don't vote for Trump in 2020 and Trump gets not reelected because of it? I doubt it, because in 2020, our economy's soaring. Even with this trade war, yeah, we're getting hit in certain pinpoint targets, but if you look at the overall market picture and the overall ratings and the overall job growth, we recently had a fiscal year growth of, 4.3% or 3.4%? That's in the midst of a trade war. And all these pundits on TV are talking about how awful the trade war is. Oh, Trump's causing such problems. Trump has just fucking won a trade war against China. Again, they don't know what to do. They've never been confronted like this before. This is fluid. This could change tomorrow. China could come out and declare war on us. Legit. I don't know. Fluid. It's the Roundhouse Report. Please subscribe. I just broke this down in less than 11 minutes. I think that maybe subscribe would be good. The Roundhouse Report. China sucks. I like Asian culture.